and it is um, a little after one, just about 1:10 or so. And according to the title that I posted today, I'm going to talk about meditation and mantra. I don't often put in a title first, um, but I thought this way, if anyone had an interest in meditation, how to use a mantra, what is a mantra, um, they would know, and they can come in and join the talk, ask some questions, provide some insights of their own. Um, we'll dialogue. I am not here to give answers that are set in stone. You know, we feel this stuff out ourselves. I've been using mantra meditation since the mid 90s, and I've been a teacher for several years now. I got my teaching certification through the Chopra Institute, Primordial Sound Meditation, which is what I um, have been practicing. I learned, I think it was like in 97 or something like that, how to do it after several years of practicing other forms of meditation. I had really wanted to learn transcendental meditation, and here's the simple fact: I couldn't afford it. Very expensive. Uh, More so now. I would assume. I haven't really looked, although maybe it's gotten more reasonable. Here's the thing about charging that much for meditation. If you can afford it, it's well worth it. They do offer scholarships. They do offer financial aid, I believe. Um, it's a very accessible program for most people. At the time, for me, it didn't seem so. I was looking for alternatives. I was actually a fan of Deepak Chopra. His book, The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success, was my mini Bible. Still is. It's a perfect handbook on Vedic philosophy. Excellent book. Highly recommended. One of the reasons why I did his teaching certification process was because it also includes teaching the seven spiritual laws of success, which I really should do some videos getting into, and maybe I will. But for now, talking about how I got into the mantra meditation, I had read great things about transcendental meditation, so of course I wanted to do it. And again, it was just simply not affordable for me. I looked for alternatives, and I discovered that Deepak, who at one time was considered just beneath the Maharishi as far as the hierarchy of the transcendental meditation movement. Sorry. Um, I have a feeling that might get harder to say as the conversation goes on. And he had a falling out with the Maharishi and left the organization. And he founded the Chopra Institute. His books became a bestseller, and he went back to India and he talked with the rishis, yogis, with seers, and really dug into mantra meditation. And for him, what he possibly thought the transcendental meditation movement might be, if at all possible, lacking. And he tried to shore up any gaps that he thought were there. And he offered primordial sound meditation, which is um, mantra meditation predates transcendental meditation, primordial meditation, all of that. There is just Vedic mantra meditation, and no one has a monopoly on it. So Deepak believes that he is teaching a more authentic version of the Vedic mantra meditation technique. Not being a teacher of transcendental meditation, knowing a bit about it though, and knowing a bit about Vedic meditation, knowing quite a bit about primordial sound meditation, they are very similar, and it seems to me the main difference is the structure of the mantra and how it is derived. Now, primordial sound meditation has 180 primordial sounds. 108, which are the original primordial sounds heard by the ancient yogis when they listened to the sounds emerging from nature, emerging from life, the sounds of the universe. And they categorize this mathematically according to ancient Vedic astrology. Everyone has a unique vibrational pattern. Your personal mantra will correspond to that very same mantra. That is your unique vibrational frequency. It was the sound of the universe the moment you came from the unmanifest world, the world of spirit, to the world of form. Do you need to believe that? Absolutely not. Doesn't matter. Here's the thing. Meditation is a sound. It's not really a word. It doesn't have meaning. Primordial sound meditation, it consists of Om, and then the Bija seed. Bija means seed portion, and then Namaha, which is a salutation. So it's taking you, Om, from the unmanifest, the sound of the universe, to your personal vibration and a salutation towards that which you are, which is life, the universe itself. You are a unmanifest being appearing in form right now, and your meditation or your mantra takes you back to the unmanifest, takes you back to spirit. As far as I'm aware, primordial sound meditation is the only practice, the only program that offers you that unique signature mantra. Could be mistaken, so no need to call me out on it. Or go ahead and call me out. I don't mind being corrected. But as far as I'm aware, is what I'm saying. So, what can you use for a mantra? Can you use a specific word? I believe it was, let's look it up. Instead of believing, let's know for a fact. Tennyson, the poet Tennyson, he used his name as a mantra. Let's see. Might not come up. Alfred Lord Tennyson. I might not be able to find it, so we'll come back to it and we'll talk about it some later time. But I do believe he used his name as a mantra. Other people use specific words. I know some people like to pick very lovely, beautiful words. Hope, faith, love, unconditional love, something along those lines. The problem is they all have meaning. They all have a connotation, and they lead you somewhere. Hope, because it's a beautiful word, will lead you towards hopeful thinking, things of hope, or maybe unfulfilled. I hope this happens. I hope this doesn't happen. But it leads you someplace specific. A mantra itself, a Sanskrit, doesn't have to be Sanskrit. Vibrational language, Sanskrit, Hebrew, a lot of the indigenous, boy, that's a hard word for me, tribes, a lot of their languages. Some might say Chinese, ancient language. The problem, though, is even they have meaning, and you might pick a word that you know that has meaning, versus Sanskrit, which is, it's the essence of language. Some of the words in Sanskrit have meaning. Some, like the primordial sounds, the mantras, don't. Those are the ones you want to use a mantra, because they only lead you to one place, and that's the silence. Mantra meditation is extremely easy. Doesn't mean, doesn't take some effort. But here's the breakdown. Sit somewhere comfortable. Your spine straight. Doesn't have to be ramrod straight. You don't want to be slouched. You don't want to be leaning too far back. You want to be comfortable. You can sit in a regular straight back chair. You can sit on a bench. You can sit on a meditation bench. You can sit on a meditation cushion. I've done all of them. Right now I'm using a cushion after years, decades of using a meditation bench, because I felt this call, this urge, this pull to be closer to the earth, to not have anything or have something less beneath me, connecting me. Don't know why, but through the years I've learned to listen to those urges. So I do. And that's what I'm doing now. So you're sitting, you're relaxed. Focus on your breath. Watch it come in, watch it go out. Don't try to alter it. Don't do any special breathing pattern. Just watch it. Just for a few moments, maybe a minute. And then let the breath go, and gently, internally to yourself, think the mantra. That's it. You think the mantra. You think it gently, you think it easily. You don't worry about cadence, you don't worry about pattern, you don't worry about rhythm. Let it come as it comes, let it go when it goes. You're thinking the mantra, and then you're going to realize that you're having about 10,000 different thoughts about everything in the world come rushing in your head as soon as you try to be quiet. Perfect. One of the first realizations of meditation, mantra or otherwise, is, wow, it's crowded in it. It's crowded in there. There's an awful lot of stuff going on. That's the nature of the mind, is to think. However, we're not dealing with the mind. We're going to let the mantra deal with the mind. We're introducing that mantra to give the mind something to do, something to play with. Like a dog chewing on a bone to keep itself active. Traditional meditation thinking across the world, they'll liken the mind to the monkey mind, always going back and forth here and there. Or we could call it the puppy mind. Puppy's always running around. So you give it a bone. But then it'll gnaw on it. Gnaw on it. Play with it. Chew it for hours on end. Keeping busy. That's the nature of the mantra. Which is why you don't want it to have meaning, because then you're giving it another thing to run away with. Just thinking that sound. So you have thoughts, your mind wanders, you get hooked on a thought. And it'll take you to whatever it is that is, what you're going to have for dinner, what your workout's going to be tomorrow, whatever. And you come back to the mantra. You remember, oh crap, I'm supposed to be thinking the mantra. So you come back to the mantra. And you think it. And you think it. Here's the thing. 4 things can happen in meditation. You can think the mantra, you can have thoughts, you can fall asleep, or you can fall into the gap. The gap. That's what we're after. But we're not chasing it. We're allowing it to happen by virtue of repetition of the mantra. The gap is that holy space. By right, it's not even a space. It's everything. It's the nature. It's the true mind. It is spirit, the unmanifest, the soul, the absolute. Absolute stillness. That's what Herman Melville was referring to when he said silence is the only voice of God. It exists as reality. Without it, nothing would make sense. The gap is that space between every thought. And it's the silence between thought that gives those thoughts meaning. Without it, it would just be a noise. It's the same with it's the space between notes that makes a song. Without that space, it wouldn't be music, it would be a long sound. It's the space within a vase that holds the flowers. When we think the mantra, we fall into that space between thoughts naturally and easily. We're not chasing the mantra, it just happens. My friend Destiny Forever Walks, PhD, is here, and she's wishing a grand Thursday. And how are you? I am here listening and absorbing all of the wisdom and knowledge. Thank you. I'm doing well today. I hope you are as well. So we fall into that gap. Again, 4 things can happen when we meditate. We can think the mantra. Perfect. We can have thoughts, even crowded, busy thoughts. Perfect. We can fall asleep. Perfect. We can fall into the gap. Perfect. Anything that happens during meditation is exactly what's going to happen in meditation. There's no wrong way. As long as you remember to come back to the mantra. If you remember it twice in the course of a 20-minute period, hey, you're meditating. Here's the important thing, that first realization that you have when you sit and you start trying to quiet the mind and you notice all these thoughts, busyness, happenings in the mind, you notice it. Congratulations. You are now the witness. You are now the noticer. You are pure awareness, noticing those thoughts. Hey, if you can notice those thoughts, that must mean something, right? It must mean I'm not these thoughts. They're just happening. They're just thoughts appearing in my mind. My reality is the awareness of those thoughts. Man, you just woke up. Awakening. It's very important. Because if you're not your thoughts, you're no longer at the mercy of them tugging you all over the place. It's still going to happen. 30 years of meditating and I still get tugged around by those thoughts. Not as much though. Life is easier now. By degrees. I'm not ruled by those thoughts. I can observe them. I can watch them. I have some responsive time versus reactionary, having a thought, immediately running away with it. Having a thought of, I got to do this. I have to say this. Now I can observe those thoughts. And I have a response versus a reaction most of the time. I get in an argument with somebody. I don't need to be a jerk. Just because those thoughts of being a jerk, of saying something jerky might come in my mind. Hey, guess what? I'm the observer of those thoughts. I don't necessarily have to give in to them. I don't necessarily have to do this. Now, I'm responsive. I can maneuver my way through situations that used to slam me into a wall. That's the gift of meditation. Other ways of getting there, besides mantra, here's what I like with mantra meditation. It doesn't require concentration. It doesn't require any great effort. I don't need to do anything special with the mantra. I just sit, again, in a chair, back straight. There's reasons for this. There's reasons why you don't want to lie down, because that is your sleep position, and you want a clear distinction between laying down, I'm going to sleep, sitting upright, I'm meditating. That's why it also is helpful to have a specific place. You can have a little altar, you can light incense. No music, you don't need it. Listen to music for the sake of listening to music. Don't listen to it for the sake of meditation. Destiny says we observe our thoughts, but we're not our thoughts. Does that make sense? That makes perfect sense. We are the observer. We are the witness. And in the end of the meditation process, even the witness disappears and there's just pure awareness. Feels like magic. Sometimes people who meditate and they practice yoga or they do other spiritual practice and they're accused of magical thinking, I'll take that. I'll take it and run with it. It is magical. Magical is just transformational. It helps you transcend from the mundane nature of present reality to the fact that there is no mundane present reality. It's all sacred. It's all magical. It's all special. Doesn't mean different. The mundane is spiritual. I always go back to the Buddhist Heart Sutra, where they state that emptiness is form. Form is emptiness. And the key word is. They don't say that emptiness becomes form, or that form reverts back to emptiness. They're saying that emptiness right now is form. That form right now is emptiness. The mundane is magical. Is keyword. That's why Richard Bach, the author of Jonathan Livingston Seagull, would call his concept of God isness, the pure isness, the is, because it's simply what's happening, occurring now. God isn't distant, not sitting in heaven separate from us, waiting for us to get things right, to stop mucking around, get serious about this, and even make our way back to heaven. Jesus gave implicit instructions. Look within. The kingdom of heaven is within. How do you go within? You pray. You meditate. You do things that draw you inwards, to notice that. I always like to refer to St. Catherine of Siena, who said all the way to heaven is heaven. Where does that leave off? This step? This step? This step? Nope. All the way. Every step. Every step we take is heaven. So we don't have to go. We don't have to wait. To realize that, though, it is helpful to meditate. Again, a lot of my non-duality friends will tell me and other people, hey, you don't need to practice to have an awakening. You don't need to meditate. You don't need to do yoga. You don't need that magical thinking. And maybe they're right. Although they did an awful lot of practicing before they gained their own realization. I like the way the Buddhist author, meditation teacher, Jack Kornfield says it, that awakening, enlightenment, is an accident. However, meditation and yoga and spiritual practice makes you accident prone. If you're searching for something, you're more apt to find it. Makes sense to me. I meditated for years and years and years, and then I discovered Douglas Harding and his Headless Way teaching. I did a self-inquiry experiment, looking in the direction that I was pointing in. Bam, I had an instant awakening, all those years of meditation. However, if it wasn't for all those years of meditation, I wouldn't have looked in this direction and I wouldn't have understood what I was looking at. For me, meditate, don't meditate. As far as awakening is concerned, it doesn't matter. But here's what meditation will do for you. It'll make you a more pleasant person to be with. It'll make you a more pleasant person to be with by yourself. You will like yourself better because you're not ruled by the pettiness of thoughts any longer. You're a little easier going. You're healthier. You've increased your ability to focus. You're kinder. You're more empathetic. You're more compassionate. You're more responsive. You're not likely to be as reactive as you used to be. For me, again, the path was mantra meditation. There is also, you can meditate on the breath. You can meditate on the heartbeat. You can meditate on a sacred passage. But that effortless means of meditation, for me, came through the mantra. So that is the talk for today. Uh, Destiny, I appreciate you joining in and your insights as well. Um, I think most of the stuff that we talk about, all of the stuff that we talk about, you and I are on the same page, which is why I enjoy your company so much. Not that you always need someone to be on the same page as you, but it's nice. It's nice in a world of complicated strangers and relationships and whatever to feel at home with someone. This person gets me. And your kindness shows through your online presence. When I watch you online, when I have conversations with you here, I do not feel like I'm having an online conversation with you. I feel like I am in conversation with you. I feel spirit to spirit. It feels like the true meaning of namaste, the divinity within me, the light within me, recognizes and salutes the light, the divinity within you. Destiny says meditation humbles you. It does. It certainly does. And in that humbleness, paradoxically, there is greatness. Sounds weird. How can you be humbled and recognize your own greatness? The person to ask, Walt Whitman, Leaves of Grass. He explains it well. I will leave that for you to look up and read Walt Whitman. It's an epic poem, Leaves of Grass. He wrote and rewrote it his entire life, it seems. So, again, this is it for today. Anyone has any questions about meditation, about mantra, about breath work, about yoga, I'm happy to talk about it, and I'm happy to have a discussion with you about it. Again, I'm a certified meditation teacher. I'm a certified breath coach. I am a yogi, meaning I'm a yogi practitioner, um, not a teacher. Although maybe we'll all learn something together when we talk about it. Destiny says, thanks for the insightful thoughts. You're very mindful of yourself and your purpose here. Thank you. I feel like I'm starting after decades, after a lifetime, to actually find that dharma, find that purpose. At one time it's got to be more than looking at a camera and talking to someone. It's got to be more than just doing this. But you know what? It is. It's simply this. It's simply having a conversation with others and opening myself up to learn from you. The art of conversation seems like a pretty amazing purpose. Back to being humble. Seems like a humble person, humble purpose, but amazing as well. Destiny says, blessings and love to you, my friend. We'll see you later. Thank you, and blessings and love to you as well. I will see you later, and I will see everyone tomorrow. Take care. Have a good day.